So naturally, the question shifts to, well, what is Giannis Antetokounmpo's legacy after winning the NBA title yesterday and winning his first Finals MVP? Because naturally, that's where the narrative shifts. And whenever we think about a player and we measure a player's success and we measure a player's legacy and we take a look at it, there's always one main factor and trait that we consider. How did you perform in the highest leverage moments and the biggest stage of your career? And within that, there are two things. The first is the tangible thing, the thing that we can measure, the quantitative factor. Did you win the game? Because at the end of the day, as much as we commend great performances, if they end in losses, they're not as memorable as the wins. So did you win the game? And the second thing is, how did you perform in that winning effort? The intangible side. And in the biggest moment of his career for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and yesterday and last night was undoubtedly the biggest stage and the biggest moment of his career, when all the chips are on the line, when you go all in, how do you perform? And Giannis last night, in the biggest game of his season, of his career, of his postseason, of his life, literally his life. It's not hyperbolic to say that. I'm not embellishing when I say that. Drops 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks on 61% shooting in the biggest game of his career, 17 of 19 from the free throw line. For the entire finals, 35 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 61% shooting. For the entire finals. He obviously tied Bob Pettit with his 1958 record for the most amount of points scored in an NBA clinching game in the finals. He's tied for the 6th most points in an NBA Finals game, period. And I've said earlier how we've become jaded with greatness. We expect that every good or promising player is going to become great. We expect that they're going to put in the hard work necessary to achieve. And the reality is, hard work isn't meant for everyone. And to be honest, players may say that they're striving for greatness, but there's a difference between striving for greatness and guys that can actually achieve and attain greatness. And Giannis attained greatness yesterday, and his legacy has obviously elevated substantially after last night. We just suspect, oh yeah, well, he's an NBA player, so I'm sure he works hard. But that's not the case. What we appreciate the most as people are those that improve, that develop, that evolve every single day. Whatever your craft is, we appreciate those that don't start off refined, that don't start off at their peak performance, the ones that have to actually grind and put in the time to improve and evolve your game. Giannis came into the league as an unknown commodity, drafted by the Bucks in 2013 with the 15th overall pick. Unknown commodity, teenager out of Greece. His mom was selling things on the streets of Greece to make money. Giannis was sleeping inside the gyms of inside some gymnasiums to be able to play basketball. Had he not slept in the gyms, he wouldn't have been able to get into a gym to play. This is a guy that grew up 5 brothers in a small house. I don't even know if it was a house. Might have been more of a shack in Greece. And you fast forward to now, and he's a 5-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, 5-time All-NBA player, 3-time All-NBA first team, 3-time All-NBA defensive first team, defensive player of the year, a most improved player of the year, and now an NBA champion and an NBA Finals MVP. Greatness isn't achieved overnight. It's not meant for everyone, and Giannis has put in hours trying to improve his jump shot, trying to improve his passing ability, trying to improve every single facet of his game. And the legacy that he's forging right now is of a guy that has had one of the most incredible stories of triumph and perseverance that we've ever seen in the NBA. This is a guy that's literally never ran from adversity. He never ran from the challenges, never shied away from the shrapnel of criticism that was heaped in his direction, that was heaped in the Bucks' direction, that he could never win a title with Milwaukee. He needed to leave to achieve success. And now you fast forward to him, and he strings together one of the greatest finals performances of all time, one of the greatest final series of all time. With that performance yesterday, the place that he just catapulted himself into, he's a top 30 NBA player of all time right now. In fact, I would argue he is right now the second greatest power forward to have ever played the game. The only guy that on pure achievements and accomplishments alone would surpass Giannis is Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is the only power forward right now that you can say on pure accolades and how decorated he is and the fact that he's a 5-time champion. That's the only reason why he's a greater power forward than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the most talented NBA power forward that we've ever seen. He's ahead of Kevin Garnett. He's ahead of Kevin McHale. He's more talented than Tim Duncan, but Tim Duncan is much more accomplished. So right now, Giannis, I have him as the second greatest power forward. He's a top 30 player of all time in the NBA with this performance yesterday. I think one of the things that I've always embraced and loved about Giannis is not only that he's been carrying himself extremely professionally, that he's such a genuine, such a likable guy, but the fact that he's embraced challenges, he's embraced criticism. We all associate Devin Booker as having that connection and that relationship with Kobe Bryant, how Kobe Bryant told Devin Booker to be legendary. But people forget that Giannis was the first to reach out to Kobe Bryant when Kobe started tweeting at guys, how can I be better? How can I improve? Giannis followed suit. Giannis was the one that reached out to Kobe after he won the most improved player of the year and said, Kobe, what do you want to see me do next? And Kobe said, go be MVP. Giannis becomes MVP. He says, Kobe, now what do you want to see from me? Kobe says, now it's time for you to be an NBA champion. So obviously being legendary is a message that is instilled in so many different guys. But how many of these guys can actually manifest it? Can actually see their hard work pay off? Giannis truly embodies this mantra. I mean, Kobe Bryant, one of my favorite quotes from him, if you're afraid to fail, you're probably going to fail. We ridicule athletes for coming up short, even when they attempt to be great. Kobe Bryant, he's my favorite player of all time. He shot 2 air balls against Utah in his first playoff series, his rookie year. In overtime, they lost. Michael Jordan lost his first 9 playoff series of his career. He was swept in the first round, the first 3 seasons of his career in the postseason. He lost to the Detroit Pistons in 3 consecutive seasons. He's lost in the first round 9 times. LeBron, it took him 9 years to win an NBA title with the Miami Heat. And Giannis has fully embraced this quote from Kobe, because say what you want about Giannis, whether you like him, whether you don't like him, he is unafraid to try shots. He is unafraid to attempt shots. The way that he walked into those 3-pointers last night, the first one that he made, shot it with absolute confidence. That's what he plays with. He is unfearful, and he just continues to embrace these challenges, embracing these opportunities to grow as a player. And that's what I respect most about Giannis, is that he continues to refine and hone his craft in the game, not just in practice. He applies, he visualizes, and he applies. all these improvements to the actual game. He acknowledges his flaws. He tries to address them head on. And again, with this title, it's not hyperbolic to say that he's now the second greatest power forward to have ever played the game. And here's the scary thing, and a top 30 player of all time right now. And here's the scary thing. He's only 26. He is only 26 years old. And as I said, 2-time league MVP, 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA player, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA Finals champion, NBA Finals MVP. And he's only ascending. He's only scratching the surface. This is just the tip of the iceberg for Giannis. Think about how much more room to grow we know he has. And we're not even him. And we're seeing him play. And we know how much more room there is to grow for him. That's the scary thing. So not only is he just one of the great stories, such an endearing person, such a genuine, likable, amicable guy, appreciates every single moment, such humility, such humbleness that he shows, such reverence for the game. And the beauty is that, listen, his legacy is ongoing. It's fluid. It's evolving. Right now, he's in the fast lane. The light in front of him is green. There's no yellow caution light. There's no red lights in front of him. The tunnel is fully wide open. It's an open road for Giannis right now.